Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Magic here. I'm going to be giving you some more analysis tonight. It is episode number 6, and we are going to start off with, well, I guess announcements. Announcements would make sense. Now, I don't really have actually a lot of announcements. I mean, I guess first of all, I won't be doing any casts on Christmas. It is a Sunday, so I want to make note of that so you guys know. Don't try to tune in on Christmas. You know, spend time with your families. That's what it's there for. I'm going to be actually working, so I won't actually see my family until a few days after that. Not a big deal though, because I'll be making extra money. But let's see. I think that's in a couple of weeks. Let me just check the calendar really fast. It always seems to come up really fast. Yeah, actually, there's a couple Sundays before that, so I don't have anything to worry about. I might be doing some extra casting, or actually, yeah, extra casting this week. I might be doing some extra analysis. I will definitely make note of it at least 24 hours in advance, probably 48 hours, if not 36. So, there is that. And then at the same time, I'm trying to come up with sort of a way to not go into too much detail with analysis, yet still give you a lot of detail with it. So what I've devised is just making up some videos that go through each thing separately, and then if that comes up during a cast, I can explain it a little bit, and then if you want to get more details about it, then I can refer you to the video. I think that would just keep things moving along a little bit faster and get a lot more casts or a lot more analysis done. So let me know what you think of that. Post something in the chat. I do read the chats. Otherwise, you can post it on YouTube or post it on the thread or post on Twitch. Send me a message, whatever you want to do. That's fine. I'll get it. I'll read it either way. No matter what, I get something in the email saying someone posted here, so I will know about it. So don't worry about that. So today we are going to go ahead and do 5 games. I'm actually going to be splitting it today. Because if I go over 2 hours, then Twitch doesn't like it. Actually, it separates it itself into 2 parts, and then sometimes if I have to cut something off one part, then you get like 3 parts, and then it's just like kind of messy. So I'd rather just have 2 parts that are separate and all that good stuff. So I will be taking a break after the 3rd game. So I'm going to do three games here, take a break, and then do 2 more after that. So we're going to be doing plenty of games today. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump into some of these. Now, I have not taken notes on these. I didn't take notes on them last week, and I think I did pretty good. So I think it's okay now. I think I can just cast without taking a whole bunch of notes, without seeing them beforehand. I actually haven't seen like any of these replays. I've seen a couple of them. I have looked over a couple of them. So we'll see how I do. If you have any questions or concerns about me doing that, let me know. Again, you can just post it wherever I'll find it. It's all good. Alright, so we're going to start off with a Protoss against Terran. Sergeant Pytro, you are up, playing as our Protoss player. Alright, so now this is a GSL version of this, what map is this? Wait a minute. This is, shoot, what is it? I forgot. I actually forgot what map this is. I apologize. I should know this, but apparently I just don't. It looks like a really awesome map. I've never actually played on it, but I know it's a good map. I've seen it on the GSL and all that, so it's pretty awesome. Anyways, Sergeant Pytro, or Petro, is our viewer. Let's turn on the sound. I had it disabled. Let's see, is my mic on? Looks like the mic is on. Awesome, awesome. And our opponent today is Fantasy. He is playing as our Terran player. And it is a 3-player map. I do want to make note of that because it's actually kind of hard to make a 3-player map. You have to do a lot of it by hand, so it's kind of crazy. Whereas symmetrical maps, you can just copy and paste the terrain, and it's actually like really nice. You just make like 1/4 of the map, and like you're done, type of thing. So it takes a little bit longer to make this kind of map. It is actually looking like it's like perfectly sized. So very, very good. Nice, and I give props to the guy that made this map. Anyways, it looks like the probe coming out. It's going to be doing a little bit of scouting, checking the Xel'Naga Watchtower, which actually isn't Xel'Naga Watchtower. It's actually a little bit different, which is cool. And, well, Pytro, let's see, what are you going to be doing? Let's actually go to your camera. You're building on a gateway. Very good. You're looking at your probe, not looking at your base too much. Just going to be checking around things. Now this is a diamond level play, in case you're wondering. So if you're below that, maybe you want to work up to this kind of play, or if you're above it, then you can see what players below you are doing wrong and all that. So I mean, I don't know if this is going to be typical of Diamond or not. We'll see if he's better than Diamond or not quite as good, or we'll see what he needs to work on and see what he does right. So anyways, looks like cancellation on that assimilator. Kind of funky. I mean, it looks like he wanted to do the standard build, but looks like now he's going to be going for a Nexus first, which is fine. Nexus first is always nice. I do prefer players go for like a next or an expansion first, or as soon as possible. But we'll see what our Terran Bitey decides to do, if he throws down some pressure or not. And well, looking at the production temp, it looks like he's keeping up on his probes pretty well so far. And it looks like he is going to be playing standard now that Terran is scouting. So that assimilator is a little bit late, but at the same time, he's still going to have enough gas for the warp gate tech. So he's going to be just fine with that. Looks like Terran doing a little bit of harass, just mining from that mineral, making sure a probe cannot. And now he's going to be running around with that mineral in hand. Alright, so I don't know what this probe... Alright, it looks like he's probably going to be doing a ninja expansion down here. Now, this... I'd say this is the correct way to do a ninja expansion. Like, you get all the normal stuff, and you don't really deviate from your plan. Like, say you want to get an expansion at X time, you just put it down at a little bit of a different location. And, because right now the SV is scouting this location, so the SV could come down to the natural, so throw it down at the third. Sooner or later you're going to have that third anyways, might as well just get it now. Now that will make it a little bit difficult to defend if this SV does spot it, or if any unit spots it, but, well, we'll see if he spots it or not. Generally speaking, if a player doesn't see an expansion, they're thinking, okay, they're going to be building on a lot of units, throwing down some aggression, so... with that in mind, a lot of players will get defensive, build on lots of units, and not expand. And it's not attack either, because they are thinking there's going to be aggression. So with that in mind, I believe this expansion is going to be rather safe early on, and then if Fantasy is good about knowing how many units his opponent should have, then maybe he'll attack in there, or maybe he'll scout, or, I mean, it really depends on scouting. So, I mean, I guess in Protoss against Terran, this is the time when you want to get that ninja up. Not in Protoss against Zerg, because Zerg is definitely going to spot it and all that. So, personally, I don't really like to go for ninja expansions. I like to just have an expansion and say, hey, you know what? You're just not going to be able to do anything about it because I'm that good. I'd rather beat that player than try to get away with stuff. But again, if you're trying to get away with something, this is the way to do it. Alright, so Terran looks like he's going for Starport Tech. He has a tech lab for it, so it looks like just a nice 1-1-1 coming online here. Getting up a reactor with his factory, probably for the barracks, and then switching that out and getting a tech lab off that factory for some tanks. Alright, so right now he's just adding on a bunker and all that, just to defend against that possible assault that's not coming, because Protoss expanded. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I like this play already so far. And, well, there's a robotics facility going up as well. So now this is kind of a little bit greedy right now. I'm trying to go for an expansion and then for tech. I would say if you're going for that expansion, try to add on some gateways and then go for tech. But of course, if you have really good scouting, it looks like you actually are scouting pretty well, you can get away with it. I mean, if you know what your opponent's doing, just try not to do it blindly. Don't do something because you think your opponent's going X. You should know that your opponent's going X before you decide anything. So, if you know he's going 1-1-1, then that's fine. Getting up a robotics facility. Otherwise, you gotta be careful with what you do. So I'm glad he's gotten up that expansion. It's a good way to deal with that 1-1-1. He's got up an expansion. It takes time for him to get up all these units from all these different buildings. He has to tech up to the starport and all that. So I mean, it takes time for him to get him out. So I mean, it leaves you with an opportunity to expand and then just add on a bunch of units with all that. So looks like he's going to be getting out. Well, that observer, once the pylon finishes, it looks like it just did. And well, we'll see when Terran pushes out if it's at the correct timing or not. But the first tank is underway. Looks like the siege mode is underway, so it's probably going to be pushing out as soon as he gets like the first tank or maybe the second tank. And of course, with that comes Banshee harass, usually in the main, and then they attack the fronts where you usually have the expansion. So now there's no expansion, so it's going to be hard for Terran to push up here. Because you can keep force fielding and all that. But again, with tanks, you got to deal with tanks, and They can shoot past the force field if they scan and all that, and then they can use the Banshees to have vision and all that. So it is kind of messy, So you got to be really careful with how you have your units. So I'm going to be looking into that a little bit, seeing how you handle the situation when he does push out. Now this is looking it looks like at a pretty good time. It's not like quite crisp, but it looks like he's going to be just fine with that. We'll see if he throws on an expansion with that or not. And wow. Okay, I was going to say, if he leaves those 3 SVs just chasing that 1 SV, that would be a huge blunder on his part, but looks like he corrected himself. Alright, so probe counts looks like 41 to 25 SCVs. This seems like very few SVs for him, so you could definitely do better on that. But again, this is about you, so looks like you're cranking out probes pretty well. You know, you're getting up plenty of units. So if you lose this game, it's probably because of just a bad micro. I mean, it looks like he has a lot of Marines. He does have a lot of Marines. No stim. It looks like I don't think you actually usually get the stim with this, but it looks like 3 tanks, 3 SCVs, 3 Banshees, and a whole lot of Marines. So we'll see how you deal with this, and well, you're probably going to see that it's coming. This pylon, I'm not sure if I like this pylon here. If you know that he's going 1-1-1, then Banshees are just going to be able to kill it off, and then you're going to be supply blocked, and then you're not going to have enough units to defend. So be very careful with that. Alright, so is Terran expanding? He's not expanding, so I wish he would send these reinforcements over and all that. But looks like you have some Starks out. The probes are coming back from that base just in case he finds it, which is good. You know, that's actually very nice. I wish you got him back a little bit sooner. Otherwise, you can just keep him there, I guess. I mean, you just gotta be really careful that he doesn't find it because you're gonna lose all your probes. Alright, so here comes the siege. Here's the force field. And right away, I'd say definitely target the tanks. The tanks are going to be a big deal. You got close and personal. That gives you the opportunity to take it down. Yeah, the Colossus, you don't want to be losing the Colossus like that. If you can take out the Banshees, and then the tanks will be easy if you have a force field there. I mean, you spent your money pretty well. I'd say maybe don't get a Colossus, or you know, definitely have the Colossus survive. You do have a little bit of money that could have been. Let's go back one little thing. Alright, so yeah, right here. Just try not to get close to here. The tanks are, of course, a big bother. You don't want to lose your Colossus again. And I don't know, I feel like you just got too much tech. And you do have quite a bit of money that could have been units. So with this, actually, wow, I just noticed this. This is the reason why you lost. You have pretty much 2 bases, and you have only these 3 gateways and this robo. That's just not going to be enough units. You do have some extra money, so I mean, if you had an extra gateway and just constantly produce guys, by the time you got there, you'd actually be pretty good in terms of how many units you have. And actually, you might want a 5th gate even. I'm not even sure. I'd play around with it, try to see what happens when you have a 4th, and then get a 5th if you need it. Just try not to have so much extra money in the bank because, well, an all-in play, you definitely need to spend all your money to defend against it. Alright, so since it was 1-1-1, the robo was fine after that gateway. But I would say just try to, you know, it's good that you cranked out a lot of probes, but just try to get up a couple of extra gateways, and then this will be a lot easier to deal with. I mean, he doesn't even have stim, so I mean, it's not like he's running forward and then doing stuff, and then, of course, do the force field, and just worry about micro. I'm not sure if the micro tournaments map is still popular or not, but if it is, I'd definitely join a couple. Some of the matchups that they have there are just not very even, but at the same time, it's just good to have practice. So I mean, even if you just totally lose a micro match because the units are imbalanced, then yeah, it happens. I wouldn't worry about it so much. Just get what you need to get done, or maybe just have a friend like do some micro with you. You know, there's like micro trainers, practice maps that you can join. Let's see, there's the unit testers, which is good for, you know, you can practice micro, have a friend join with you, and then you guys can just like practice microing on that even. You know, just say, oh, I need to have these units, you're going to have these units, and then we just duke it out on a certain type of terrain. You can look for one with a ramp or something like that. You can, you know, because there's that as well. So yeah, micro and skin up some more gateways and spend your money. Alright, good. Let's get into our next game. So yeah, that was a nice little short replay. I love seeing short ones just because they don't go on forever. And in most cases, actually, players will make mistakes in the early game, and I don't really want to talk too much about the late game until you fix the early game, because, I mean, of course, the early game is the most important. Your late game is going to depend on it. So I'm really glad that was a short one. Most replays are pretty darn long. And of course, if you're like a top level masters and you're having difficulty with the late game, yeah, then you can send me some good late game replays. Alright, so let's get into the second one. Do. Drink some more honey water. Alright, cool. Alright, so we have Pubes Poop Pie, who is our Terran player. Very original name there. And do I have my overlay up? Yes, I do, so let's remove that. Yeah, apparently it's just already going to be trolling. Oh well. I hate trolls, personally, but it's all good. Anyways, our viewer today is Snuggles. He's playing as our Zerg player. Now, this one is mostly about, okay, what do I do against mech? A lot of players would be like, okay, what do I really do in this kind of situation? So we are going to go into a lot of harass type stuff, taking a lot of bases, because generally speaking, if your opponent is going for a high-tech army, and I consider mech to be like a pretty high-tech army, then, and if you're going to low-tech army, then you should have a lot more bases. You should be able to harass a lot more. If he gets up a lot of bases, it's going to be game over, because he's just going to have a nice 200 food army. So the key here is just keep up the harass. Once you both hit 200, he's just going to win. You know, assuming that he has a bunch of bases, because it's just not going to be fun to deal with. So let's see, what are you going to do? Looks like you're going to be going for hatch first. Maybe that's a scout. Okay, scout first. Cool. Alright, so now are you going to go hatch first or pool first? Looks like hatch first. Alright, so that's good. I do like that against Terran. A nice little opening there. It looks like Terran, meanwhile, is just getting up a barracks. Let's see, he's not getting a gas yet, but he's getting up a barracks. Let's see, he's going to throw down a proxy barracks. I do not know. But that SV is charging forward. Alright, so hatch, let's see, when's the pool going to go down? 16. I do like to get it on 16 personally. And actually, I've been looking to maybe get a little bit sooner, just to deal with 2 racks a little bit easier. But this is, you know, it's kind of a long distance to your opponent. You know, it's kind of wide also, so it's actually not too difficult to defend against certain things. Alright, so the pool on 16, now he's getting up a couple more drones, and the extractor. Okay, so this is all very nicely timed so far. This extractor, this timing, of course, is going to allow you to just get up enough. You know, you're going to get that speed at a nice time. If he was doing the 2 racks, then you'd get the speed, and then you could catch up to all the retreating units after the 2 racks, and just kill them off. So that's actually a very nice timing. And then at the same time, you can get like a +1 with that if you want. I personally like to take guys out of the gas and then put them back in to get the +1 if I'm getting the speed that early. But we'll see what you decide to do. Not that you have to play exactly like me or anything. I'm just saying what I'd do. Alright, so here comes the transfer. I would have, I don't know, I like to hit C to, whoops, what I just, okay, apparently it doesn't do anything, but C will return the cargo of your drones. So if you have guys going into a gas and they're holding minerals, just tap C while you have them selected. They'll return the minerals, then go to the gas. Or if you're taking guys out of the gas, you do the same thing and return the gas before taking a mineral. But yeah, you could have just had that money a little bit sooner. It's really not a big deal. It's just something I noticed. Alright, so now you got a couple of Zerglings coming out to watch the watchtowers, I believe. Maybe checking the fronts. Looks like watchtowers. They're going separate ways to the watchtowers. To the watchtowers. Yep. Oh, no, this guy's going to run right by. Checking things out. It's at the bottom of the ramp there. Alright. So Terran's going ahead, going for that 1 Rax expansion, which is pretty typical on this kind of map. It is slightly bigger than like MLG, or I mean Metalopolis, for example. So he's just going to be placing on that bunker, and the Queen's up here just doing some creepage, spewing some good stuff, and all that. So it comes out of her butt. That's kind of, I never really, yeah, actually, wow, she has like a thingy there. A tentacle thingy. I never noticed that before. But anyways, some drones are coming out here. Overlord's coming out. Pretty good timings on everything so far. Pretty nice opening. Alright, so he did take guys out of the gas. He's left 1 in. And this is actually looking like a pretty good play so far from Zerg. We'll see if he puts on Evo Chamber or gets Lair first. Not sure, but Pubes Pupai has gone for that expansion. So since you did see the barracks on here with that Zergling, I mean, I'd say definitely get up a third right now. A third is good right now. And now he's going for 2 racks. And actually, he's pretty vulnerable right now. This is actually something that I usually don't suggest. Is, as Zerg, you could actually just bust in here. This is just not enough. Now, even if you had a complete wall off, Banelings can just bust down these like bunkers, and you could get in here pretty easily. But it's kind of a big map, you know. This is somewhat tight, so it is kind of iffy. So I wouldn't really suggest it. I'm just saying that it's possibly possible. All right, so now the third's going down. I wish it would be a little bit sooner. You know that he's going for an expansion. So I mean, I would say don't get the lair first. I would say get a +1 first. If you want the Baneling Nest just in case, that's fine. Try not to get so many gas. Try to just get that hatchery up sooner, and then get the gas like a moment later. Now, obviously, you're going mutas, so with that in mind, you can get if you want to get it really early, that's okay. You're getting up to your third, so I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. Personally, I would have gotten this hatchery around maybe like 6 minutes and 30 seconds, maybe at 6 minutes even, and then gotten the layer started at maybe like 8 minutes, and well, the Baneling Nest somewhere in there as well, so just in case. So actually, I mean, I'd say your timings are good. I would arrange it a little bit differently, just to have stuff up at different times. And so, that third base, it would be up and kicking right now. You get the extractors for it, and you can get even more mutas. So I mean, that would actually be really nice to have. And at the same time, you're delaying gas a little bit so that you actually have more drones out. So with more drones out, you're actually getting more minerals, and you're going to have more gas. So it's actually just like delaying the gas so you actually get more of everything, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So anyways, it looks like for Hellions coming out now. Pretty darn late. He's just kind of checking things around. That's fine. All that good stuff. Checking the watchtowers. And you're going to have those mutas up in a minute just to deny all these Hellions. So I mean, those Hellions are really not going to do much at all. So pretty good play by Terran as well. He's getting up another command center. Now this is actually kind of reckless of Terran, getting up another command center. Generally speaking, if you're going mech, like Hellion, Tank, and Thor, you're not able to just get up another expansion. Like Zerg could really pressure this right now. Like definitely, like if not before, definitely right now. I'm not saying you have to. A lot of players like to go for that more macro style gameplay for Zerg, just to, because that's really what Zerg, like a lot of players don't see Zerg as being the aggressor. Zerg is more of the sit back and relax and macro up and try to defend against everything. You don't have to play like that. You might actually enjoy being very aggressive with Zerg. It does take a little bit more talent just because you have to time things out really well, and you just have to have really good micro and deal with your base at the same time, so it's actually kind of hard. But yeah, as Terran, you can't really get up this base if you're going mech right now. This is just really vulnerable. There's just not enough Marines, not enough tanks or anything to defend. I mean, it's kind of weak. He's actually stretching his luck right now, but we'll come back to that a little bit later, so let's unpause. Alright, so now your expansion is spotted. Queens are down there to kill off some Hellions. Got some Zerglings standing by just in case. For the record, I would not have... Okay, so the Zerglings came down from here and swung around while the Queens were up there. Hellions were there. I'd say use the Zerglings moving back here, then down here, and then around here, so that the Queens kind of trap the Hellions, and then the Zerglings kind of... Or the Queens are blocking the escape for the Hellions, and then the Zerglings come over to surround. Whereas this is pretty much just like it almost looked like a 1A, which is fine if you're if you really just don't have time and taking care of your base. I'd say that's fine. But if you do have a little bit extra time, I'm not sure if you're controlling those guys. But if you were, try to get them the other way. So, anyways, Zerglings dead now, and the Hellions are still alive, and those Zerglings were pretty much just thrown out, which is kind of what you have to do in this situation. So you don't want to lose your hatchery, but it does take a while to kill off, so I wouldn't worry about it so much. And wow, big blunder on Terran's part. Oh well, there's a couple of Hellions for nothing. Alright, so now the mutas are coming out. Looks like you're setting up for another expansion. Alright, so right now is a good time to be expanding, actually. You want to be getting up a lot of drones, since he is going mech. Now, I'm not sure if you know that he's going mech. Yeah, I mean, you saw one factory, but I don't know, I'd say definitely scout more. That's your biggest blunder right now, not scouting. Alright, so now you're setting that over here, and you see all the factories, you know he's going mech. Alright, so you gotta know, okay, tanks, Thors, and Hellions are mech, right? So, with that in mind, you gotta have a game plan. What do you do against mech? Well, you take a lot of bases, first of all, because he's gonna be slow pushing. So, this drone was actually sent there. I wish he would have used it a little bit sooner, but whatever. And now you're gonna be harassing here. Be very careful around these Thors. Nice little pick there with the missile turrets. Actually, since it's only one Thor, you could actually just magic box with these mutas and kill it. You just have them cluster like they are now. You just have them stop so they spread out a little bit like this. And then you just click back here, like this spot, for a move. And then when they're right above the Thor, before they actually get to that spot, you just hit hold. And that'll actually... What? Oh, H is the health bars. Alright, so that'll actually kill off the Thor. And since he doesn't have any anti-air other than that, you could have actually done a bunch of damage here. So... Let's see. One of the things you can do against mech is you can go muta, but you kind of need a lot of mutas, and you gotta hope he doesn't have like a lot of Thors. And actually, at the same time, Terran players can just add on a whole bunch of Marines with barracks, so you gotta be really careful with that one. But with those mutas, you can keep him in his base pretty darn long. Yeah, good. You're going after the SCV with that one guy, and okay, Brendan's just gonna chill there. Alright, so now here comes the Thor. Alright, well, the muta's gonna be lost, no big deal. Alright, so the muta's still here. Let's see, built a lot of missile turrets, which is good. He forced a lot of missile turrets. So with that in mind, you're actually spending your money pretty good, by the way. Alright, so you have a lot of gas and all of that. Let's see, what other units do you have going? You have roaches coming out, very good. You want roaches against Thors. Roaches are good against Hellions, decent against tanks, and decent against Thors. So overall against mech, roaches are pretty good. But you do need some kind of like higher end units to help take him out. Broodlords, Ultras, Infestors are really good. I would not suggest Hydra just because Terran players love their tanks. And, tanks just wreck Hydras. Now, Hellions do decent against Hydras as well, so I wouldn't suggest it there either. But, whoa, okay, so here, small engagement, I'd say be careful with this a little bit. Got your roaches. Try to pick off more Hellions if possible. I don't know, actually you did alright there. I just forget what I said. But, alright, so Terran, trying to take another base. You have some pretty good vision, so that's really good. So if he expands, you want to be there to take it out. Because the thing about mech is, they're slow. So if he's here with his army, and he expands down here, he's not going to be able to defend both, right? So, I mean, you attack here, and then you want to attack the outsides against mech, is what I'm saying. Against a slow army, you want to attack the outsides of his base. You don't want to go and push against his giant ball. Now, of course, if you're able to do good amounts of damage to his ball, that's good. But I'd say attacking his economy is going to be a better deal. Against mech, against anything that's high-tech, you want to attack the economy and slow him down that way. Against other stuff, not so much the economy, maybe you want to take out the production, go for his big ball, take that out. Assuming he was going like Marines and Marauders, that'd be a good idea. So now it looks like Terran, kind of in the middle here, set up a planetary fortress. This is actually the correct way to go mech. You set up some good defense all over the place. These tanks are actually spread out really nice, very nicely, I should say. Thor's at pretty good places, taking out that overseer. You're coming in here to harass it very good. And yeah, I'd like to see an exit strategy. Some burrow tech maybe. Burrow could be spotted, so I mean, I would not say that's the best idea, but at the same time, it's not very costly. If he does spot it and do a reveal, then you're going to be okay. Alright, so now you're taking out a couple Thors. I'd say, definitely target. Okay, you are targeting now. Good. Overall, some pretty good micro considering taking over your base. Alright, so this is... Okay, this should have been a little bit sooner. I was looking for a drop or something. So this is actually very nice. Dropping while attacking this position. Now, this is actually kind of tough to deal with because, I mean, he has so many missile turrets. On this map, I would say this map is not very good for drops, which is kind of sucky because usually there's some space back here. and just move your drops back there, and then go into the main, stuff like that. On this map, I would suggest more Nidus. Do not underestimate Nidus ever. Even against Terran. Against Terran, you're like, oh, Marines and Marauders can just be there and kill it off, but, well, he's going mech, so actually Nidus is a good idea, Whereas against Marines and Marauders, I'd suggest more drop type stuff, because it gets there, like all the units unload at once, and then you can blow up a bunch of stuff and all that. So I don't know, just try to have an Overlord there or something, and then you can put a Nidus here and then have like another one back here or something, put one there, or maybe you just want like 3 Overlords that just swoop in here, and then you just drop a couple of Niduses. Now of course he's gonna have some tanks and stuff coming out of these barracks or these factories, but at the same time they're not going to be able to take out a Nidus as easily as Marine and Marauder. So with that in mind, you're going to be able to just crank out some units, destroy this and all that. So basically, what I'm trying to say is against mech, you want to harass a lot. Looks like you're trying to with these drops. But yeah, this is not going to be successful with these missile turrets. And yet, yeah, you actually moved back. That's good. Yeah, some players will just like move their Overlords in and they'll just die. So actually, you're quite on the ball with that one. Let's see, lots of tanks out here and Thors. Now, as you can see, you're actually way ahead on the food, which is how it's gonna be. And this is actually pretty even. You just gotta be really, really careful. Let's see, drone counts. Drone counts pretty good. I'd like to see a few more drones, because I mean, he doesn't really have the army to attack you right now. So keep tabs on his army, see how big it is. He did have a lot of Thors that you crushed, which was really awesome. And it looks like you're sending some more roaches forward. So while you're doing these pushes, I'd be expanding and building more drones. Like right now, you're doing this push, which is good. I would say don't attack here. This is a static defense. Don't try to just bring it down. Try to sneak by it. And actually, you got a small task force here. These 5 roaches are going to be coming down here, which is very nice. Considering this is an orbital, you're going to be able to kill off a lot of stuff. So that's awesome. That is really awesome. But yeah, try to ignore that. Maybe send your big force here, to this location. Take out some of these turrets or whatever, and then just try to have your task force somewhat away from your main force. Like I'd say, send your main force here, and then have your task force come in here. With that in mind, you're going to be able to like force his army to attack your main force, and they can just sneak in your like task force. Like if you know where his army is, like let's say his army is up here to defend this, right? You can. I mean, I think maybe you're expecting that it is. That's why you're coming from this angle. But if it is, if you know that it is, it's scouted, of course, with the Zergling or something, send your roaches, your task force roaches down here. Once he moves his army to that position, you can send your main force in over here, take out some of these nice, juicy supply depots, take out this command center, and some of these bunkers. But yeah, you just want to be attacking lots of different locations. I would not attack this. Try to ignore static defenses if at all possible. Try to ignore these tanks. They weren't sieged up, but still try to ignore them because they are pretty much the same as static defense. They're just able to move. So try to ignore units as much as possible. Try to get damage done without attacking his army. So yeah, the roaches came in here, were cleaned up. Actually, I'm not sure how they got in here. How did you sneak by? Oh, okay, you did drop, you just kind of failed and got only one guy out. Oops, I didn't mean to go back again. Let's go back to where it was. Alright, cool. Alright, so now this planetary is on fire. He's going to repair it, of course, because he's Terran, and Terran repair. Look how fast that repairs. That's just ridiculous. There's only 2 SMBs on there, and it repairs like 10 times faster than it takes to build it, which is absurd. Anyways, it's like Terran. Moving ahead with this Hellions, he should be taking out some more creep. You got some awesome creep spread. I like that a lot. This is what you want to be doing in this matchup. Just have a ton of creep everywhere. You even have some spines over here to help guard this expansion. Very nice. It's kind of an awkward shape curve here because it can just like roll back here, but not a big deal. The creep wasn't up there, so you just gotta put them where you can. All right, so I'd like to see some infestors. Now you're going Broodlords, which is good. I'd say maybe have a transition of infestors, and then those tanks, you can throw down a bunch of beach balls, those infested Terrans around the tanks. The tanks do very little damage against infestor eggs. I want to make note of that. Just spread them around, have the tanks attack that, as soon as their first volley is done, your unit should be there and running forward, and that'll just take care of the nice first volley, and then the Infested Terrans will take care of the rest. I mean Infested Terrans, right. And then the Infestors can also Neuroparasite these Thors, which is going to be awesome. The range is a little bit shorter. I have not actually done this in a while. I don't really go up against mech very often. But if you Neuroparasite a Thor, that's, like having a Thor on your side for like 30 seconds. So that's actually awesome. I just got to worry about those tanks. They do tend to target fire those Infestors. So try to do it wisely. And then, of course, with Infestors, you can do some nice harass also. You can, sneak some Brood ones in here and then do some Fungal Growths or some Infested Terran plays. You can sneak some in here, you can sneak some up here. Basically, you just want to keep Terran at low economy. The lower the economy he has, the less tanks and things he's going to have. Whereas for Marines and Marauders, he's going to have like a big army still. It's just going to be, not as strong because Marines and Marauders are not going to be as strong as mech play. You just got to be really, really careful with mech. Okay, so we're doing a good job picking these guys off. He's actually doing a bad job harassing you, and he doesn't actually have to harass you, but those Hellions should be taking care of some of these creep tumors at least. I find it really, really interesting that he has all of his units, all of his tanks in this one location, whereas he doesn't really have too much up here. He has a Planetary up there. He actually has some pretty nice defense considering it's mech. He's playing it actually pretty darn well, but he really just doesn't have a lot up there. And it's just really kind of surprising, but anyways, let's continue on. So you got +2. Yeah, I'd say, okay, I'm just noticing your upgrades could definitely be a little bit higher. 21 minutes, 22 minutes into the game, you should have at least 2-2. Working on 3-3, looks like you're going for the, melee attack, that's fine, but you're getting the +2 carapace now. And the +3 flyer, that's actually really good, so, I don't know, I'd say try to get a little bit sooner. These tanks should definitely have 3, or, at least 3 attack by now, and then working on armor. But, what can you do? Alright, so let's unpause. Broodlord's coming forward with that nice +2. That's some nice 24 damage per shot, plus the Broodlord attack. So now, suddenly, these tanks are really not going to be much. These Thors are not much. You have the high-tech army now, which is really good. You want to take a lot of bases and then maybe switch in the high-tech. That's always going to be very nice. And keep it harassed. So you actually did pretty good on that. I'd say maybe try to find different ways to harass with those, doing Infestor plays, doing Brood Roach plays, doing Niduses, stuff like that. And yeah, be very careful about this. You definitely want some kind of anti-air. That was just actually a big blunder. You should actually have like a standing anti-air with your Broodlords, because you can expect that he's going to have a lot of Vikings like that. So, I mean, you have some Infestors. You can do some Fungal Growths. It looks like you did. Just not enough. So, I don't know. With that in mind, I'd say, well, you don't actually have to retreat right now because he has slow tanks. But and you can't really retreat with Broodlords. But I don't know. I guess just get some Corruptors up with those dudes. Maybe some Hydras even. I mean, it sounds crazy to get Hydras in this matchup, but Hydras would help out against these Vikings. Because then you could force his Vikings back while having your Broodlords not too far back. From the tank line is what I'm saying. But, well, whatever. Alright, so now he has the +3. It looks like your +3 is almost going to be finishing up here. And you're getting some Ultras. Alright, so this is kind of an odd moment here, because you got your upgrades for your Roaches, which is awesome. But now it's like, okay, now you have Broodlords, Ultras, and Zerglings. You get the Zerglings because, I mean, you're going to have a lot of extra minerals with that. So you don't actually have any upgrades for your Claws. So, I mean, that's actually kind of strange. It feels really strange. I would say, I don't know. I don't know. It's really kind of complex. If you want to get the upgrades for your Roaches, I'd say try to use your Roaches a little bit more in the mid game. With Burrow or something like that, do some drops, do some Niduses. So if you think about it, his main's actually not guarded at all. These 2 Marines are the sole guards of the main. He's actually geared up to defend against ground. He has a Planetary here with some tanks and a Thor. And he has some, well, he could spread out his tanks a little bit more, but he hasn't. And then he has some tanks and Vikings down here. So, I don't know. I'd say actually, since you are using Broodlords, I'd say maybe actually just harass this spot with them, and then um, harass. I don't know. Try to look for another spot, like someone to drop, like down here. Do a Nidus, do something. Try to just attack from multiple angles. This is something I try to stress a lot, and I'd say that you're at the level where you can start trying to do that kind of stuff. It might seem like it's really taxing at first, and I mean it looks like you're trying, which is really awesome. I'll just say try to do bigger drops. Try Nidus. Just try various things. You might lose a few games from it, but I think it'll teach you a lot about how it goes. Because I can't really tell you how it goes. It's just kind of something you have to, feel. I think that's how I feel about it. I'm not gonna tell you Nidus is good or bad. You just kind of have to see how it goes. And yeah. All right. So Terran's still defending. He has pretty much his 200 food army, so he could probably push right now. He does have his +3 attack. And, well, now you're getting up some ultras. Alright, so you're getting this plating finally. I'd say, you do have a lot of bases. I'd say take these gases. I mean, it's looking like you're trying to switch into a higher tech army. And with the higher tech army, you want as much gas as possible because you're just going to have extra minerals. Which forces you to make a lot of Zerglings. And actually, at this point in time, you want like no Zerglings. You want like just Ultra, Broodlord, Infestor, and Corruptor. Try to have as many high-tech units as possible. And then the low-tech units could still do harass, like attack down there. I'd say definitely move your Zerglings down here while moving your big army up here. Well, looks like it's going okay. Good Infested Terrans. And some botched micro, pretty much. I'd say, like, run up here, throw down some Infested Terrans here, and then run back with your Infestors, and then send everything else in this way. Now, I'd say it's best to attack from, like, a big angle, like you came in from this direction, or actually you came in from down here and then up here. I'd say send some units up here, and some units down here, and then you can just send them all in this direction, and then you'll just be able to crush it a little bit easier. Your units won't get in the way of the other units as much. So this game I would actually say micro kind of is important for you as well. Got some more ultras coming out, lots of Zerglings because you had the money for it. Again, get your gas sooner. It looks like Vikings are coming out to do some harass or at least scout things. Actually, yeah, harass. Pew pew. Those guys are dead. Ultra is gonna die actually. Oh, that sucks. I don't know if you ever if you notice this I don't know if you've watched your replay before, but that sucks. Like 2 ultras come out here. They're set to rally, so they actually are not attacking. They just sit there and die. That sucks. That's just kind of something that happens unless you're like super fast and you're just like able to take care of that stuff and you like notice everything. But that's something that happens to me like all the time. Like stuff just comes out and they just die, But alright, so now I'd say definitely gets your melee attack a little bit higher. It looks like you just got one. I'd say get another one. Your armor's about to finish. Try to get your upgrades a little bit sooner on your ultras. It's just so strange. I mean, I guess what I was trying to say before is if you're going Roach or heavy Roach in the mid game and you're getting upgrades for it, try to use the Roaches a lot in the mid game. And then, get some tech. If you know you're going to go Ultras and Broodlords, try to get some tech for that at a certain amount of time. Maybe like 18 minutes into the game, you're like, okay, I'm going to start to switch into some more melee type units, so let's just start getting those upgrades now. Let's get like a +2 for your Roaches and then switch over right away. But I'd say definitely get your upgrades constantly. Like it seems like you're not constantly getting them. And that could be a blunder. Now, if you don't want to get upgrades for your Roaches in the mid game, you just got to try to, I'd say definitely defend more. Try to do some nice aggression with Zerglings, and with that, you're actually going to need a lot of hatcheries. So you're actually going to be able to get up a lot of bases. So I mean, that's generally what players like to do. They like to get the Zergling upgrades, and that helps out if your opponent's going bio because you just get Zerglings and Banelings and Mutas and you're all good, right? But when he's going mech, It's almost kind of like you might want to consider still going Zergling. Because then you can harass this spot and this spot, and you can just run by defenses a lot easier. So it's got to be... I mean, then you can get the upgrades and use them for later on, so there is that. So harass a lot more. I hope I'm emphasizing that a lot. That's kind of the point right now. To harass a lot. I really like his defense. I'm actually admiring it quite a bit. So he actually played a really nice game. Not that you didn't. You actually had a pretty nice game as well. But this is kind of the defense you don't really see every day. Okay, so Ultras, what are you doing? GG. Yeah, not much you can do at that point. And yeah, he actually pushed really late. So I mean, yeah, just try to find little ways to be aggressive without sacrificing things. Again, it's hard to do drops on this map, so I kind of feel for you. But I don't know. Don't let him have a good economy. So let's see. Is that no? That was the second game, I believe. That was just a really long game. Let's see. Game. Whoops. Wrong folder. Wrong folder. Alright, so this one is for Carbon Trace. You are I'm doing the Zerg against Terran replay for you. Let's move that overlay. Alright, remove or put up that overlay. Oh, this kind of sucks. I don't know if you... slow start. Oh well. It happens, you know. You run and you think you have time to get some water and then you just don't. You just, you know, you're 7 seconds behind. Which sucks, but, you know, whatever. It does set you back more than you might think, though. I do want to point that out. Alright, so this is Metalopolis. They are in cross positions here. Terran goes by the name of Dargon. And, well, we'll see. He's putting up a pretty standardized supply depot at the top of that ramp. Overlord's going to a nice standard spot. You're going pool first. I would not really suggest this, but if you want to play that way, that's fine. Or if you just want to get used to going pool first, that's fine too. You know, just to practice it. That's actually really awesome. But alright, so pool's going to be finishing up here. 6 Zerglings coming out. Actually, wow, I didn't even notice you did 6 pool here. I would say never 6 pool against Terran. Ever. Because this wall is going to be finished every single time. Even if he's in close positions, that's going to be finished. So you got to be really careful about that. So you're even sneaking up, or what is that, a drone? Oh, okay, you're just getting up another drone with that. Okay. So now you're going out. And his SV is not going to see it. And yeah, as you can see, his wall's already finished. So yeah, this is just not going to work. So I mean, think about it. His Marine's going to be out. Wait, it should be out. I don't know why it's not coming yet. Alright, now it's on the way. Ooh, are you going to sneak by there? That just... Okay, I was going to say, if he doesn't close that up, that's going to suck. But anyways, the Zergling's now attacking it. Marine's going to be coming out here. This Marine's definitely really late, so don't count on it not being out. He's just late. You can expect that it's out by now, every single time. Alright, so now... Your Zerglings are attacking. You're pulling them back, that's good. You're doing some damage while still keeping them alive, that's very good, because they'll regenerate that hit point loss. And you're forcing him to just repair. So this is actually kind of nice. Like, the way to do it if you're going to be 6 pulling against Terran. But at the same time, I'd say never do it, because look how behind you are. You are at 12 drones, he's at 16 SCVs. Factory's already on the way, he's going to have a reactor coming out soon. You don't even have an expansion up yet. And this is just not a good spot to be in. Alright, so now you're getting your gas. I wonder how you're going to deal with these Hellions here, because, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like, okay, 6 pool, that didn't work. Now, don't be confused. A 6 pool is an all-in. It is an all-in. At this point, since it failed, you pretty much lost the game no matter what. I mean, I guess unless your opponent is really bad, you lost. I mean, you pretty much have to kill like 4 SCVs for it to even be even. And then if you kill more than 4, then maybe you're ahead slightly. So I mean, it's actually not very awesome. And that's if you have good, if you're continually droning and all that, having really good macro. So I just suggest that nobody does that ever, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it looks like your Zergling's going to be coming out. Alright, so now the Hellion, the first Hellion anyway, is out, so he's swapping that out. Alright, so now you got your hatchery on the way. By the time it's finished, those Hellions are going to be in your base. Alright, so you're getting up a spine, and it's going to be really hard to secure this hatchery. Now if he sends Marines with it, you're going to be even in more trouble. It doesn't look like he's going to have enough, but if he did, that would suck. Looks like he's even supply blocked, so this is actually a little bit late even. Or it's going to be a little bit late, I should say, because of that supply block. And then, well, you're going to be able to defend your natural, or your main. Your natural is going to be under constant attack of those Hellions. You're going to need a lot of Zerglings or a lot of Queens. Either way, that's a lot of money that's not spent on drones. So it's pretty much just going to push you back further and further and further. For the record, at 6 minutes, you should, or you could be at, I should say, like 30 or 40 drones, whereas right now you're at 20. I just want to make note of that because it is kind of a big deal. And now you're even throwing up even more spines because of those Hellions. That's Hellion threat, and he's getting up his own expansion. So, yeah, this is just not going to go well. Alright, so now you got a spine crawler going up, and your natural. Actually, so yeah, this actually worked out pretty good. So you're able to get that spine down there. You're blocking with those Queens, which is nice. But at the same time, you could move his Hellions back here and harass. And then if you move your Queens down there, then you can move up into your main. Ooh, you can roast those larvae. They are lights. Lights and armored, apparently. Or lights and, well, they have 10 hit points. Or 10 armor, I should say. Alright, so Evolution Chamber going up. Gas going up. Second gas. Second gas is definitely too early. I don't know, at this point you're pretty much just screwed, so what do you do? I don't really know, because you're already pretty much dead. I'd say at this point maybe you, I was going to say Roach, but Roach is kind of, yeah. I don't know, you need to keep spending your larva. And the Hellion's going to get in there and kill a bunch of stuff. Yeah, about that. Speeding up, lots of drones are lost. Lost tab is actually kind of even. I don't know. Players might look at the lost tab and say, "Oh, okay, I'm okay." You know, I'm okay. The lost tab's actually not bad, but it actually can be misleading. Don't worry about it so much. Don't worry about this so much as like, okay, what is he doing? What does he have? You know, look at tech, look at his economy. Look at his army size, and just look at how many workers he has. So right now you're ahead on drones. So I mean, you might say that okay, maybe I'm doing okay. You are doing decently considering. I would say that you are doing pretty good considering. You got up your spines, which were against those Hellions. You took out the Hellions. You lost plenty of drones, which sucks, just because your queen wasn't in the right spot. So I'd say definitely. I don't know, try to just not have that happen. Like, put your evolution chamber here. If it's there, this will actually be a nice wall, and the Hellions will have to go around here. And actually, it's kind of weird. On Metalopolis, like, some expansions will be a perfect wall, and some it won't. I think this is one that it's not. So you might actually have to have a queen here. Like, put this up one, and then have a queen there, or something like that. Or maybe this will be over one, like here. And then your queen's there. But either way, try to wall this off here, or this off. Another thing you can do if your hatchery here is late like this, you can put your evolution chamber there like I just said, and then you can put a spine crawler there. What that'll do is drones and Zerglings will be able to get by, Marines will be able to get by, but Hellions will not. Hellions are like a medium-sized unit, so they will not actually be able to get by there. So you can, like, if you see Hellions, you can just move all your drones up there, keep, have your one spine here, have the second one here, and then if he keeps adding on Hellions, you can add on a third one up there, type of thing. And then, I don't know, try not to keep your drones in the main too much. I mean, you want to split them up as much as possible and all that. So anyways, Helene picked off now. You want to spread out through drones. Good. Awesome. And yeah, since he has an expansion, this is actually not as good as it looks. Of course, his macro is probably not the best, but... Alright, so you got your layer now. Alright, so another evolution chamber and a Baneling nest. I'll just say try to get this one down here. Looks like you're not even getting upgrades with it, so I'd say try to just wait and get it down there. Now you could say, okay, maybe he's going to have a Banshee and I should just have one. To be perfectly honest, you just should have this up sooner, but in this predicament, I guess it's okay to have it up there. You just got to be really, really, really careful. Or actually, if you go for an all-in play like that, what you do, if it fails, is you pretty much have to take risks. A certain risk. Whether it be, I'm going to expand a lot and try to just get up a huge economy and not build any army and just catch up that way. Or if it's, I'm going to get a giant army and attack him and just not get economy until he has been hurt significantly. Or you can say, okay, if I'm just not going to worry about this kind of play from him, and if he does it, I'm just going to lose. Now, this is not something that pro players will really do. I mean, they don't usually put themselves in that kind of predicament. They don't all in. But if you are going to all in, then, you know, A, you're going to be behind if it fails, and in this case it did. So you got to do one of those three things and just try to, you know, or I mean, I guess the fourth thing would be like a tech superiority, which is usually not what you want to do as Zerg, because Terran's going to have whatever he needs against it anyways. If you were Terran or Protoss, you know, it would be something like going Banshee or Void Ray and attacking that way. You know, then maybe you can get back in the game that way, or doing drops. Drops can help too. But yeah, in this predicaments, you are just so far behind. But yeah, it's actually okay to have both, because you're going to get both upgrades, so that's actually okay. Okay and good. Say, try to get up another hatchery right now in this predicament. Because you have plenty of drones. Your Zerglings. I mean, if you have 2 hatcheries and you're just building Zerglings, even if you're going Zergling Muta, you're going to need another hatchery. So definitely get up either another base. Looks like you're about to take another base. You have the money for it. Where's the base? Where's the base? Try to do it sooner. Try to do it sooner. Try to do it a lot sooner than this, because it's actually on ×2. Alright, now you're getting it. Alright. And now you canceled it. Alright, well, if you didn't want it, you didn't want it. But, okay, Terran's actually attacking, so it's actually a good thing that you did cancel it. But yeah, I wish that was up a little bit sooner. And then if he attacks like this, then you just die, because... I mean, either way, you're kind of screwed at this point. So, I mean, you're going to have to take a risk like that. But yeah, since you just started it, and since he was already out of his base by the time you just started it, it was a good idea that you canceled it. So now Overlord's going to go down. You got to be careful where you put your Overlords. If they're just kind of hovering around, you got to make sure they move before this happens. So you could potentially get supply blocked because of that. And all that fun stuff. Looks like Zergling's coming around for a backside attack, which is fine. Looks like Dragon actually has some good tank coverage here. Actually a very nice tank coverage. I wish we had one up there, but not a big deal. Baneling's coming in here, killing off a bunch of Marines. So pretty good on that. Actually pretty good overall on this for you. Coming in from that backside. I wish that was a little bit sooner so it'd be timed out with the Banelings, but you actually took care of that pretty nicely. And just because he has a giant forest compared to yours, he's just going to have some guys left over. And some Baneling nest goes down. Marines are going to be killed off as well. And, alright, so now you got some Banelings more from the back. Very nice. Alright, so I'd say maybe pull off some drones with this so you don't lose a whole bunch of Banelings running around like that. Oh, man. A little bit of miss micro there. Kind of just running right by, and then, yeah, it happens, you know. Don't feel bad about it. It's just one of those things. Try to practice it. I'm sure you know what to do. Alright, so it looks like you're gearing up for a counterattack. Looking for that third, which is awesome. Check for that third. Set up your third. Like right now, you just took out some... Okay, Marines and tanks. You set up your third. That's good. And so now you're going to have to try to delay this as much as possible with Zerglings. And let's see, you have that Spiral. Let's see, you're not cranking out any mutas. Do you have any mutas on the board? I don't believe so. Um, I'll try to say get the mutas instead of Zerglings at this point. Yeah, Zerglings are going to be nice because you can use them to defend a little bit easier than mutas. And then get across the map a lot faster, but at the same time, mutas are going to be able to do heavier kinds of harass. Whereas, like, okay, if your mutas spotted the expansion here just like your Zerglings did, they could keep attacking, and then, oh, his units are here, so they got to back out before it's actually dead. That's fine. And just swing around to the main, kill off some of these SVs building these barracks. He's going to have a missile turret or two. Try to avoid them. Like, at this point in the game, you want to lose 0 units. 0, 0, 0 units. You want to kill off as much as possible while losing nothing. That's how you win a game. That's how you get out of a loss if you're behind in a game. And, well, let's do as much as you can. Alright, so now you got a macro hatch going up. And actually, yeah, this is actually a good spot. I was going to say maybe you want to take a 4th, but this spot's actually okay. And, well, transfer some drones over. Let's see, unit count tab, 57 drones, 49 for Terran. Yeah. Alright, so, I mean, at this point, I would say just keep a Zergling over here. Then if he expands, you can have, like, your big group of Zerglings down here. And if he puts the command center down, you just send your Zerglings back in. Maybe if you're lucky, you can catch some SVs off guard and all that good stuff. But you want to just keep tabs on this expansion. Take it out as much as possible. You saw him like putting it down before, so you got to know he's trying to get it. So just try to delay it as much as possible. And then if he sends his units, just get your units out of there. Don't try to engage it. If it's like 2 Marines, just run away. Well, actually, if it's 2 Marines, engage it. But you know, if he has like 5 Marines and a medevac, like, get out of there because you don't want to lose like any guys. Alright, so here comes the mutas doing some good damage. Actually, you have plenty of mutas here. And while you're harassing, get up drones. Get up a lot of freaking drones. Alright, so let's see. You got your bases here. You just got some larvae. I'd say take a base. Now that you have your mutas out, take a base. And this is actually a nice, healthy amount of mutas. So right now, take a base. Add on as many drones as possible. Right now, you're adding on Zerglings. It's okay because he's attacking. If he wasn't attacking, that'd be a big misstep, but hopefully you're making units because you saw him attacking. But yeah, now you need some banelings. No banelings. Zerglings coming out. Try to have a couple of Zerglings out, like maybe half of this just on standby, and if you see him push out, you can just morph him right away. And then you can add on a whole lot of Zerglings when he comes out. And then you can attack like right there before he sieges up. Like, well, he's on the creep, so... Right now is a good time. Now he's sieged up, so it's kind of a bad time. Let's see, what are the mutas doing? You got a bunch of Zerglings back there. Mutas are flocking in. Looks like mutas coming in from this direction as well. You have a ton of freaking mutas. That's actually pretty darn awesome. Yeah, you're going to be able to clean this up pretty nicely with that. But yeah, once again, you do have these Zerglings here. You could do a counterattack here. And hey, it's okay. It's okay. At this point, I feel like you almost need a lot of practice. Like, you know, like, maybe what you want to be doing, you want to counterattack with these Zerglings, like, you want to defend with your mutas while being aggressive with them, but it's going to take a little bit of practice to actually get to that point where you're able to just control everything, and that's just normal. It's just going to be a while. This is not something you want to be doing. Do not attack the planetary with a handful of Zerglings. If you're going to attack with the Zerglings, send in a bunch of Zerglings. Try to take out the turrets with the Zerglings, then you can use the mutas on the planetaries. But yeah, it looks like you just have so many mutas that it can be okay. But yeah, that's a lot of Marines. Comes a stim, they do have a +1/+1. Mutas are not upgraded. Definitely get some upgrades right now. Periodically check at your base, see how many drones there are, you know, or how many minerals are left, so you know the splits. Yeah, this was taken out in the last attack. Definitely spread your creep more. If your creep was out here when he attacked, which is where like it should have been, if you were really good about creep, it would be like up here. But try to get it over here so that when he attacks and goes onto the creep, you can just surround him right then and there, and you won't be losing this base down here at your 3rd. You won't be losing the base at your 4th, and it'll just be a lot better. That's something I need to work on a little bit more, just getting up creep spread and all that. And well, the Muse coming in here once again for an attack. Let's speed it up a little bit. Alright, going for those missed turrets. Turret 1 down, turret 2 down, and now he's going for the reactors. 1 reactor down and 2 reactors down. Going for that third turret's down, and now the Marines have come to the rescue. Now you're forcing a lot of stim. This is really good. You're forcing his Marines everywhere. It's kind of his mistake to overstim like that. You kind of want just a bunch of Marines back here at some point, and then a bunch back here. You just have a ton of mutas, so actually that's pretty darn awesome. In most cases, Terran, or at higher levels, I should say, Terran would be like constantly attacking with this mixture. So with your mutas, you're not actually able to get in there and do a lot of damage. But I will say that your macro is better than his, so you actually have more drones than he has SCVs. You have a good amount of bases, even though you lost your third twice, and you're keeping your money really low. Like, as you can see, his gas is quite high, his minerals is low, whereas yours are both pretty low. So that's actually really nice. Since your macro is actually a lot better, or pretty darn awesome now, I'd say you need to work on just droning up while you harass. That's just going to allow you to get up a lot of stuff. Now try to take out the turret first, because otherwise you're going to be losing mutas while he's just going to continually repair. Sorry about that. Alright, so here comes the Marines. Force another stim. Now he has like a ton of turrets. Now's a good time to like Nidus or something like that, like in this back corner. Like, all of his units are here. Like, they were here. You've been harassing this spot with your mutas, which is good. Forcing them to move to the third. That is the first step of army manipulation. The second step, attack from another location. Like, you just forced his army here, right? So like, throw up a Nidus right there, maybe 2. Just to get guys out faster. And then your banelings can come through and just blow up a whole bunch of supply depot. Like, that's gonna hurt Terran a lot, especially this one with the extra supply on it. That's pretty much 2 supply depots in one, and it has the same hit points as 1 supply depot, so that should be a pretty high priority target right there. But yeah, you can knock out some of that. If you want to, you can go for some barracks. If you see like 2 barracks clustered like this, you can go for that. Try to go, like, if your banelings up here, click on this barracks, this one here, so that's they'll roll into this nook and then take out this barracks here, and also taking out this one with the same blast. Whereas if you're up here, then you click on this barracks, maybe they'll go up to this corner and just blow up this one. So there's little things like that I'm just telling you about. I don't expect you to get better at that kind of stuff right now, but just doing some Niduses right now would be pretty darn awesome, don't you think? Especially since he's going Thor now. Like, he's getting so much anti-air. He has so many missile turrets. That's kind of a blunder on his part. And I mean, he has like not much anti-ground. He has all these Marines, which I'd say are really good against mutas, not so good against banelings and stuff. So I mean, a little bit of Nidus and all these SCVs, bunch of supply, maybe a Nidus up here. I don't know if you're able to swing past up here and then put a Nidus there. That actually requires a little bit more manipulation of his army. Like, you got to make sure his army's all the way up here, because otherwise this is pretty close to where his army is already. So you got to be careful of that. All right, so now he's just getting up a lot of medevacs to heal all the overstim that he did. Looks like your mutas still did a bunch of damage. Killed off plenty of SCVs. Yeah, the count is only 39 SCVs now. And yeah, now you're going to work on this planetary. Yeah, as soon as that planetary is done, you need to retreat so you can defend. I'd say don't worry about this gold so much. Retreat your guys. You know that his army's coming. Retreat these drones. Bring them back to like this base, or even back to the natural if you really want to. I don't care if it's almost mined out. Just bring them back there so they're safe. And that's a lot of banelings. And that's a lot of Marines. So yeah, it's a good thing you're getting a lot of banelings. He doesn't have enough tanks to really deal with all those banelings, so this is actually going to be really nice once you use them. Once you do, they have the speed. They do have the speed. Very nice. SV just saw all those banelings. Got to be like, oh god, that's going to suck. So let's speed this up a little bit. The banelings moving into position here to defend that 4th base. Mutas coming back. I'd say definitely try to move your mutas a little bit sooner. Let's see. Did they move as soon as that was killed? I mean, I'd almost say you gotta move them before the planetary is even down. Let's see, play. Alright, so you do move them right away, so that's good. So you probably needed to move them sooner. You saw them push out, you gotta know, okay. Just try to time it a little bit better so your mutas get there sooner. that kind of thing. So now they're over here. The base is gone. That's fine. Your banelings could be out here waiting. With creep spread, that would be even better. But yeah, I'd say look for these open areas that Terran has to cross by. Like, he wants to kill this off, right? Since he's here, he has to cross this giant open area. So with that in mind, you can have a bunch of banelings like in a nice concave position here. Like have some here, some here, some here, and then some here. And then once he comes here, you send them all in there and then just explode all over everything. And then your mutas are coming in from this side. This is even better. Mutas are coming in from this side, so you have your banelings just like on move. Like, you don't even have to have them on like attack move. Just have them on move. The Marines, if they engage the banelings, they will just explode all over them. And then the mutas will come in, and any Marine that's running away from a baneling will just get caught off, killed by muta. And you know, that's like a nice micro army manipulation. Like, you're manipulating his army to just die faster. Like, you're saying that, oh, he's gonna micro a certain way, so I'm gonna kill him off this way. Like, you just knowing that he's gonna micro a certain way, because, well, if you didn't micro that way, then you're just gonna kill him. Then you're forcing him to run a certain way, so you can actually abuse that with things like Mutalisks and Zerglings and banelings that can wrap around easily and just come in from so many different directions. So that'd be actually really, really awesome. Then, of course, if you want to dabble with the burrow tech, that's always nice. Like, it looks like this Terran didn't even scan. It looks like you have enough banelings to like deal with everything anyways, but you're going for the, well, the movement floors, that's okay. Personally, I would have rather you magic box the floors and then went after the Marines, but it looks like it turned out really nicely. You have a few guys to clean up, not a big deal. Just speed it up a bit. And Hatcher goes down. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but you do have a spare. Very nice. I'm not sure if I was telling you about having a spare, but it is nice to have a spare if you're under attack. Just like always have a hatchery going up, so if you lose a hatchery, you have another one. You know, it's all good. You don't have to worry about, you know, getting another base. Worrying about, you know, remote mining or something like that. You just have one. And now Terran is very well screwed, so let's speed it up even faster. You got your mutas sitting there, sitting there. Now they're moving, now they're moving, now they're moving. Checking out some bases, making sure he doesn't have a base anywhere, which is nice. Checking out the refinery. You got that base rolling once again. You did a good transfer. Let's see. Definitely move some more of these drones from there. Yeah, definitely move some there. And you can actually just set up a hatchery here. Set up a couple there, even, you know. I mean, I guess your money's really low, so I mean, don't even worry about it. That's just something I would do. That's my personal style. That's not something you have to do at all. Yeah, here comes the mutas taking out some missile turrets. And at this point, Terran's pretty much dead. I mean, a high-level player would just be like, okay, GG, you win. Because there's really no way you can win at this point. I'm really surprised that you were able to make a comeback. So I do want to say I'm proud of you, because this was a pretty nice comeback. And now it looks like these Marines just going to be chilling. They do have a +2 attack, +2 armor. Mutas on +1 armor. If you want the armor or the attack, they're both good, so don't even worry about it. You know, for Broodlords, actually, yeah, I don't know. For Broodlords, it's actually good to get both, you know. For Mutas, same. You know, like, Marines are the main thing against Mutas. Marines attack super fast. So with that in mind, armor is going to be more valuable. So it's good to have armor on your mutas, but at the same time, one more damage on your mutas is going to help a lot too. So either way, it's good. Personally, I like the armor from mutas, but at the same time, I just noticed that, you know, I want to say, theoretically, I like the armor better, but it seems as though the attack helps out a lot too. So I'm pretty sure it's pretty even. Alright, not much going on yet. Broodlords making their way across the map. Corruptors following in their footsteps very slowly after this one guy. He is the ringleader. And now we are going in. Going in, going in. What is Terran doing? He's moving medevac for a drop across the center, which is not what you ever want to be doing. Because Zerg's going to know about 100% of the time. You know, he has the watchtowers. At least one of them. You know, if you don't have watchtower Zerg, you're kind of bad. So have those watchtowers, very good. Alright, so Broodlords moving their way across, once again, very slowly. Yeah, actually, you're taking those expansions anyways, even though You have a ton of money. I'd say definitely throw everything you got at this expansion. Make sure he just never has it. So yeah, kind of a blunder to let him have this expansion, because right now, if he didn't have that expansion, he has nothing. If he has nothing, you can't make units. You can't make units, can't attack you. So like at this point, since you have so much money, just like build a bunch of banelings, run them in here, and then gather up some money, build some banelings, run them back in here. You know, just try to kill off what you can. It's you are pretty darn far ahead right now. So now Terran's kind of like, okay, what do I do? He has Broodlords. I'm scared shitless because Broodlords are awesome and just wreck the place. And it's like, he even has Corruptors with that. What do I do? I can't even get Vikings. I'm getting some Vikings, but it's not going to do anything. It's just going to suck. And here comes some Mutas cleaning up my base. I'm not going to have any Vikings anyways. And yeah, some dudes are exploding. And these Marines are trying to kill off some Broodlords here and there, but they're going for the Broodlings. Kind of a misstep there, but it happens. And, well, it looks like you just don't have enough Broodlords. That's fine. I'd say during that battle, you can definitely morph some of these Broodlords, or these Corruptors into Broodlords. You know, you see, okay, it doesn't have a lot of Vikings. I could actually maybe morph half of those into Broodlords. During the battle, you know, when you're at 200 food, try to just stay maxed on 200 by making more Broodlords. And of course, making more units. You want to be making units. Okay, I want you to practice this. Because this is going to be just really good practice. You're actually maybe going to lose a few games because of it. But I want you, in this kind of predicament, 1A this location, just 1A it. And then hit your hotkey for your hatcheries. And actually you should have more than 3 at this point, but you know, try to keep up on your hotkey and making sure your hatcheries are all on a hotkey, because you would have a lot more dudes being produced at once. And then you can just stay maxed at 200 constantly and just throw guys at him, and he's not going to be able to do anything. But when you do it in waves like this, it's kind of like, okay, maybe I won't have enough. If Terran got here a little sooner, that would be a big blunder on your part. And yeah, so Dragon takes the loss. Alright, so right now I am going to take a break. Let's see, like a 10-minute break, let's just say that. Let's resume at 8:55. Yeah, let's just say 8:55. If you have any questions right now, I will answer them, but I will be turning off the stream momentarily, and then I'll turn it back on in a bit. So actually, I'm going to wait to turn it off and then turn it back on when I come back. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them. I will read them right now and give you some answers when I get back. So anyways, Magic's signing off for now. I'll be back in between 5 and 10 minutes. Actually, it's more like 5 minutes now. So yeah, don't go anywhere, because it'll be fun. Adios.